Hi, my powerful conscious creators. I'm Bailee here from Create Your Future, and I am here to show you guys just how truly easy manifesting is because you guys have been doing it your entire life, okay? Don't forget, we have a super cool contest down below and free courses still available. My videos are going to air every Sunday, and you don't want to miss them because every time you watch one of my videos, something just clicks for you. So, today, guys, I want to hop right in and I want to help you guys stop the hot and cold behavior between you and your SP. I also have two incredible success stories because you guys are killing it and I wanted to highlight you both in this video. So I just want to first start off with saying it does not and should not take you a year or longer to be able to maintain consistent treatment and behavior from your SP because honestly, guys, I've been there, and if it truly takes that long, I want you guys to be very honest with yourself because it is a very huge indicator that you have just been wavering for that long, okay? Because it just means that there are two stories that you're in the middle of and you're entertaining both, okay? So you have to really remember that the world is always going to be a response to you, and it has no choice but to reflect your SP doing also these things, okay? Because you're holding these two stories that you're persisting in, so your SP is definitely going to mirror that, okay? So whenever I see hot and cold behavior with clients, it is always, always, always because you are experiencing the hot and cold within yourself, okay? Because your thoughts are not being consistent enough to sustain your manifestation. Now, I typically seeing it either being you're maybe spending half the time doing your affirmations or whatever technique that you choose, and then the other time it's actually spent reacting to the 3D, allowing the 3D to shift your inner truth and resonate with letting the 3D tell you who you are, okay? So the 3D is now easily going to bring up your past traumas, your fears, relationship issues around men or women, and how they treat you, how your relationships always go, and how this kind of is like a similar pattern that you notice always happens to you. So the hot and cold behavior has to be coming from the source, which is you. So what you have to do is you have to choose a story that feels good to you and stick to that, okay? Because you can't stick to it sometimes, and then when they message you and then all of a sudden they leave your message on open for a few minutes, you start going into panic mode, you start telling your old story, okay? Because you're gonna have to keep figuring out a way to not keep resonating with the 3D and not keep allowing it to trigger you and going back to your old story, okay? Because some things that I really want to suggest for you to do if you feel like you're very overstimulated or maybe you're super hyper reactive to the 3D because you might have, anxiety or anything else that's happening, I really, really suggest that you might need therapy or anything else, by all means do that, okay? Because really the biggest key piece that you're going to see when manifesting is you have to make sure that you have nervous regulating system practices, okay? Because these are vital, especially if you really do feel like you struggle with reacting to the 3D, okay? I don't want you to keep judging yourself because I know there's a lot of judgment with yourself that comes with this, but you have to understand that by reminding yourself that this is internal, your thoughts and emotions are always working together, your vagus nerve is going to have to be stimulated, okay? And I have talked about this in all of my courses a few times in my videos because you are emotionally training your body as well to adapt to this new story. So if you really do find yourself struggling, I suggest breath work, EFT tapping, cold compresses like ice. That's very, very beneficial, and they're honestly very popular ways to calm yourself down. Now, I want to remind you that they do look different for every single person, and I can go into depth in another video if you want me to as well, because this was something that I struggled with, and once I really was able to stabilize my vagus nerve, it was a complete game changer in how I manifested. So if you know that you're triggered easily, just know it's okay. We're going to work through it because we have to normalize this new identity, even if it's very uncomfortable. It's okay because you are breaking habits, okay? So I really encourage you to figure out what works for you because when I was going through this process, I would meditate in the mornings, I would do breath work if I was triggered, or I would do the EFT tapping. But I would mainly do that on my chest area because that's where I knew that I held the most anxiety and the most energy. And it was something that really, really worked for me, especially if I was out in public and I would get triggered. Okay, so I just want you guys to remember though that I am teaching you everything from my own personal experience and what has worked for me and the clients that I've helped. So when I was with my SP and I was experiencing the entire, hot and cold thing, and we weren't in contact, okay? I was very easily able to do my work. I would do my affirmations, I would read my story. It felt good. I was living in my head and, living in the end goal. So he would always conform, though, super, super quickly for me. We would be very hot and cold communication. We would pick up right where we left off. But what I was noticing within myself is I was not even allowing myself to be excited that he was here, or he would say some of my affirmations back, and that I was actually experiencing my manifestation, because in the back of my mind, my ego would just keep nudging me, and it would be like, this isn't going to last, girl. He always does this. He's only consistent for a few days. He's busy. He's in his healing era. He's going to stop talking to you. Oh, look, it's the weekend. You still haven't heard from him. You probably won't hear from him either. Okay. So I was just constantly persisting in these thoughts, because I would find myself then anticipating his behavior to keep remaining the same, and for the same outcome to keep happening for me. So then I would find myself really entertaining those thoughts, okay, like, see, he really hasn't texted you today. He hasn't even called today. He's watching your stories. He's ignoring you again. It's happening again. And I would just let my focus go right back to that old story. Okay. So you guys get that point. But whatever was happening, I kept excusing his behavior, and I would keep allowing that to be the story, because my past fears honestly were being very, very, very persistent. So we'd be so good, everything's fine, then bam, I'm ghosted. And I would get so mad. I would just be going off in my head. I would keep blaming him. But I truly understood, okay, Bailee, this is a pattern, okay? No matter if I get a new SP, they're going to show me the same behaviors if you don't correct this within yourself, because at this point it had to be coming from me. I am the common denominator. I was honest with myself about sticking to the new story, right? So I was wavering. I was not actually being committed to, like, in the ways that I said that I was. So I want you to understand that your SP has to show up in the way that you are thinking they think of you, because that is everyone as you pushed out. All the stories I was telling is what had to be reflected back to me, no matter what. So the game changer for me was I had to start thinking of this person as thinking so greatly of me. He wants to be with me. He wants to talk to me. I am his favorite person, because it is really key to understand that what you think they think of you is so valid. So I had to understand I am creating the script, and they are operating based on my assumptions and my thoughts. And I'm going to be very honest, it felt weird at first. It was very, very unnatural to me. But you have to understand that the law says whatever you persist in has to push out. So if I wanted this person to think I'm so pretty, I'm so funny, I'm the best thing ever, I'm his bestie, I had to keep persisting in that story. So if you find yourself anything like me, where you're just constantly checking your phone, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from him. What is he doing? Did he meet someone else? Is he talking to other people? Is he purposely ignoring me? Is he over me? Whatever it is that your mind is saying, okay, you have to catch yourself, because I know you get a pit in your stomach. I know you get anxious. Maybe you get sweaty. All I know is it does not feel good, okay? So I always suggest the hourly check-ins, because you really need to be monitoring your thoughts and the way that you are feeling throughout the day, because you're going to be able to start catching these autopilot thoughts that keep coming up. That way you can now persist in the story that you're actually wanting to. So this is why I highly encourage rampaging, and that's why I love it, because I was like, wait, hold on, girl. And then I would just remind myself, I'm in control. This man is head over heels for me. I love that my man loves me so much. I'm so glad I always get what I want in relationships. I'm just so lucky. Okay, whatever you want to say that is specific to your own story. But this is what you genuinely just have to keep doing. You have to keep checking yourself like that, because it works. You're not kidding yourself. It has no choice but to push out, because they absolutely have to show up in the exact way that you've been persisting in and expecting them to show up in, okay? Because you have to just keep reminding yourself the 3D is only a projection of your thoughts. You do not have to keep reacting or changing your affirmations. I need you to stick to the script of what you want and choose to keep thinking in that favor, okay? Because I understand that I would get pangs of anxiety, but I would just always say, Bailee, no, this is working out for you. You just have to start being more assertive and not letting yourself keep falling back into these old patterns, because when I really just sat with myself and understood every single thing that I'm looking at right now has started in my imagination. It is the source of everything. My cute little kitty started in my mind first. My hairstyle started in my mind first. This laptop started in my mind first. Okay, it has to start in your mind first. So you have to keep refusing the old story. Swap topics. You can't keep putting attention on it, because your body is a way to really start to use your internal GPS system and see where you're at in your manifestation, because only you can judge how close or far you are from giving up or having it, right? So I want you guys just to be honest with these thoughts that are coming up for you, because I had to really address within myself that I was still identifying as the version of myself who doesn't get the guy that she wants. You know, she's not wanted by the guy she wants. Relationships never work out for her. And it was really causing me to begin to include my SP in the loop. So you have to be honest with yourself, okay? So this is where I want to bring in my success story from one of my clients. So I had a client a few weeks ago who was in a long distance relationship, and I remember him telling me about how hot and cold his relationship was, okay? Because he would keep telling me, you know, like, Bailee, okay, one week I'm hearing from her consistently and she's telling me she's going to come see me, and then I don't hear from her for a week straight, okay? So what I did is I asked him, okay, so what are those like sneaky fleeting thoughts, you know, that you keep having constantly pop up during your day? And he was like, okay, well, I'm consistently checking my phone. I'm looking at her Instagram. She's posting out here having a better time in her life than she ever did whenever she was here with me. And he just kept taking no on her being so inconsistent, and then her not wanting to be with him. You know, he took on the fact that his exes always got distant in communication before they would break up with him. And he was still operating from this version of him who doesn't get what he wants when it comes to relationships. So because he loved scripting and he loved rampaging, he wrote out a small paragraph of what their relationship looked like now. And what I had him do was just read that in the morning for 10 minutes, and then during the day and during his hourly check-ins, he would just rampage about being the guy of her dreams, being the perfect partner, knowing he is someone worth having around for life, okay? And he would just rampage how much she loved him, how their relationship was always so consistent and healthy from the beginning. And he did all of this in a matter of a week, just because he was able to maintain that state. Because anytime that he would find himself getting stuck in the old story, he was not allowing himself to stay stuck there. He was not allowing himself to sit here and keep identifying in it. He was like, no, this is who I am now, and I'm going to get exactly what it is that I want. So I'm honestly so proud of you, and I know that we're still waiting for the rest of the story to unfold, but I was just truly so excited because I know he's going to get the full manifestation. And the fact that he was able to get the communication to be consistent and have her actually book the flight, that was just so amazing. Because like, if you guys saw the week by week by week turmoil this person was feeling, it can be a very devastating process if you are still trying to continuously get something out of the 3D. Obviously, we all want to experience our physical manifestations, but by law, you have to experience it in your inner world first so that it can push out. So that's why he was having so much hot and cold behavior, because he was consistently going within himself and taking no on the fact, I don't have it, I don't have it. And then he would take no on the fact he did have it. And when he finally pushed himself to maintain that state, regardless of what he was seeing out here, that's when it was able to push out for him. Okay. So that's the biggest thing that I keep seeing with you guys is dealing with this internal battle within yourself. You don't have to keep doing that, okay? You just have to keep being persistent in the story that you want to push out. And when you do that, you're going to make it so much easier for yourself, because the stuff out here is not going to matter, right? So I'm really, really excited for him, and that just makes me so excited. So with that being said, the other success story that I wanted to share as well, which was really my big motivation this week, because like, you guys, like I said, you guys are just killing it with ending this hot and cold behavior, because I feel like that's been the common theme this week. I've been seeing all the comments, I've been having it in my client calls. So I really just want to help you guys end this, you know, once and for all, because I understand completely the hot and cold is very, very, very annoying. Okay, so this success story though was with the client that I had, and she had a really bad relationship with her daughter. Okay, so they went a few years without talking, and they had a really bad blowout when she divorced her dad. And she sided with her dad, she moved in with him. So my client wanted her daughter to move back in with her and to just get their bond back. So what we did is we began focusing on getting the communication from her and then pulling her back in, and then we'd be able to go from there, because she was very, very, very resistant towards going to the end goal, and that is okay. Like I said before, you guys are able to manifest in whatever way feels the best for you, okay? So with us doing that though, we were just focusing on the end goal, what it was like for her to have her daughter back in her life, how it felt that they were sending each other memes all day, pictures, calls, texts, voice notes, just like that they used to. Okay, so whenever we did that, we actually got very quick results, and it was about 3 days later that her daughter reached out. We were so excited because this is someone that she had not had contact with in months. Okay, so what her daughter wanted to do was she wanted to go to lunch first and then move on from there. So over text they were completely fine, okay, but her old story with her daughter started creeping in, and she was really doubting herself, and she began reacting in that situation. So when they ended up meeting up for lunch, this lunch went terrible and the daughter stormed out. So over the next week though, they're going back and forth, they're like arguing, you know, like their old selves, and she was in complete panic mode at this point, you know, because we had done all this work and she felt like it was for nothing. But I had to remind her, Neville says persist until hardened into fact every single time, okay? So what we had to do is we had to work on staying very persistent in this new story of her, along with her new self-concept, in order to sustain her relationship with her daughter. So I really just kept reminding her, this is a process that can be very uncomfortable because you're internally changing yourself. You're internally breaking your habits that you have in regard to this person completely. Okay, so what she was really struggling with doing is detaching from her old reality and looking at her daughter as a new version. So I had to really emphasize the fact that you are a new version, your daughter's a new version, this relationship is completely brand new, you've never experienced this before. So you cannot keep allowing yourself to keep getting triggered and bringing back that old story in and that old version in, because you've already persisted in being someone else this entire time. You're already switching your identity to being the mom of a very loving, helpful, caring, kind daughter that you interact with daily, okay? The thing is though, it can take time, and that's okay, because you don't want to focus on that, because we're all on our own journey. It all comes down to you, your beliefs, and how on board you are about releasing the past and being able to truly saturate yourself in this new identity. So you don't have to rush it, you don't have to worry, because you're always in complete control. Okay, so when she did this, she worked on this for a few weeks, and she kept seeing her daughter slowly conform. And then she began conforming more and more and more because she kept focusing on the good movement that she was getting. So this was boosting her confidence, and she became really, really determined. So after about 2 months, her daughter was fully conformed, and even now has a bedroom at her house that she stays in, and she comes to visit her weekly, and she'll stay for a few days at a time because their relationship now is better than ever. So that really, really touched my heart, because that is one of my favorite stories that I think I've ever been able to help someone create in their life. You know, I just feel like there's no better love than like your mom and your daughter. I just love it. So I was so excited for her, because I know that truly meant so much, because I'm just thinking about my own mom and our relationship, and it just truly touched my heart to be able to see her conform someone and really try and stay persistent despite what the 3D is showing, because I truly understand how hard and triggering it can be sometimes. But I really want you guys to watch the thoughts and the stories that you're holding on to, and monitor where you tend to go and how much you are actually looking at the 3D. I want you to be able to regulate your nervous system if the triggers seem really intense. Find a method that works for you. I very highly encourage you to research this and keep going, okay? And I will also drop an example routine here if you guys still feel like you might need extra help. So you guys can screenshot, you can pause, you can take note. I also really want to give you guys some example affirmations or even a story to rampage that will help you if you do find yourself being triggered. I just want you guys to be able to come back to this and just rampage this, you know, no matter what, okay? So I want you guys just to keep going, and thank you so much for your support and feedback. So if you guys want any encouragement, as always, book with me for one-on-one coaching or check out any of my self-paced courses, because you guys are blowing me away with these success stories. So I know that when working through these things like this, it can bring up a lot of fears, insecurities, memories and old stories. So some of you guys can do this work alone, and that's great. But if you know you need guidance and support or just any reassurance, don't hesitate to reach out and book with me. Okay, so if you guys found this video helpful, like and comment down below. Keep focusing on what it is you do want, and remember guys, give yourself grace and be grateful for the journey that you are on. I intend that this video helped everyone watching and that you guys watch it as many times as needed. I know you guys are enjoying your manifestations and more. Goodbye, love bugs, and I will see you next time.